Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're exploring an industry that, well, most of us interact with pretty regularly, but its explosive growth is often happening kind of behind the scenes. We're talking about the global call centers market. And our insights today come from a really comprehensive analysis by cognitive market research that frankly opened our eyes quite a bit. So our mission here is to sort of cut through all the data and really uncover the story behind the sector's rapid global expansion. Because when you think call center, you might just picture, rows of phones. But the scale we're talking about here is truly staggering. So get this, back in 2021, global revenue was around, $25 billion? Then by 2025, it's projected to almost double, hitting nearly $45 billion. And then, hold on tight, it's set to skyrocket. We're talking an astonishing $145 billion expected by 2033. Yeah, that's a compound annual growth rate, the TJR, of almost 16%, nearly 16%. Now, for an industry that many people just think of as, answering phones, what on earth could be fueling this kind of massive sustained growth? I mean, nearly 16% annually.
That means the market's basically doubling in size roughly every 5 years. Well, it's explosive, sustained expansion for an industry already worth billions.
It is. And what's really significant here, I think, is that these aren't just big numbers floating around. They actually signal a pretty fundamental transformation in how businesses are engaging with customers globally. So it's not just about handling more calls. It really reflects a massive strategic investment in the whole customer experience piece. And that's being driven by accelerating digital transformation, obviously, and the adoption of all sorts of new technologies. It really tells us that customer interaction has become, mission critical for almost every sector out there.
That sets the stage beautifully. Okay, so let's unpack this region by region. And I think you'll quickly see the truly global nature of this expansion. We're going on a bit of a journey around the world of call centers, and I think you'll find some surprising powerhouses emerging. So where are these seismic shifts happening most dramatically? Are there unexpected epicenters?
Well, when we talk about global leadership in this growth story, Asia-Pacific absolutely takes the crown, no question. This region is projected to leap from around $8 billion in 2021 all the way up to over $46 billion by 2033. And it's maintaining a strong average annual growth rate to almost 16%.
Wow. Okay, and here's where it gets really compelling, I think, especially when we look at individual countries within Asia-Pacific. India, for instance, is showing just phenomenal growth. It's rocketing from just over $1 billion in 2021 to potentially more than $7 billion by 2033. That's a staggering 17% annual growth rate.
It really is.
And China, already a huge market, right? Yeah. It's set to grow from nearly $3 billion to over $16 billion in that same period. That's a rapid 16% annual expansion. But it's not just these two giants, is it?
No, not at all. We're seeing significant growth right across the board. Japan, for example, is projected to hit over $3.3 billion. Singapore, over $4.2 billion. South Korea, over $3.1 billion. And then you've got countries like Australia, Southeast Asia, generally Taiwan. They're all seeing multi-billion-dollar markets either emerge or expand dramatically by 2033. And most of them have annual growth rates well over 14%. It's widespread.
So what's the insight there? What's driving that dominance?
Well, I think the real insight here is how these regions, particularly India and China, have kind of evolved. They've moved beyond just offering low-cost labor, They've become these really sophisticated hubs for highly specialized, tech-driven customer engagement. And this growth is underpinned by, significant government support for digital infrastructure, for one. Plus, they have these vast and increasingly skilled multilingual talent pools. And there's a strategic embrace of outsourcing that makes them pretty indispensable for global businesses now. It's about building these sophisticated scalable operations.
Right, makes sense. Okay, shifting our gaze a bit, the Middle East, it seems to be demonstrating some serious momentum too. This region boasts one of the highest average annual growth rates we're seeing, over 16.5%. Revenues there are projected to soar from nearly $3 billion back in 2021 to over $18.9 billion by 2033.
That's quite a jump.
It is, and the UAE in particular really stands out. It has one of the fastest growth rates globally, over 17% annually. It's moving from around $327 million to nearly $2.2 billion. And Saudi Arabia is also expanding, rapidly set to reach almost $6 billion by 2033. Strong growth there too, nearly 17% CAGR.
This really raises an important question. What's specifically driving that rapid ascent in the Middle East? It's probably not just about those broad economic shifts we mentioned earlier. We're seeing really aggressive domestic economic diversification plans, significant investment in modern infrastructure, and there's also a surging demand for high-quality customer support within the region itself. These countries are essentially building out their own digital economies at a remarkable pace, and while robust customer service is a cornerstone of that effort.
Interesting. Okay, and then there's Africa, a region maybe often overlooked in this specific conversation, but it's showing truly remarkable potential according to this data. It's projected to grow from just over $2 billion in 2021 to more than $13.4 billion by 2033. That's an impressive average annual growth rate of over 16%, almost 16.4%. And within the continent, Nigeria looks like a major growth engine. It's set to jump from around $564 million to nearly $4 billion. That's a 16.6% CAGR. And South Africa is also expanding rapidly, projected to hit over $2.3 billion by 2033, with an even higher CAGR of 16.8%.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, these high growth rates in emerging economies across Africa, they signify a really crucial shift, a shift in global business connectivity. It highlights how improved digital infrastructure, combined with a rapidly growing young and often quite tech-savvy workforce, it's empowering these new regions to become vital and also cost-effective hubs for global business services. It's really a testament to the increasing, let's say, democratization of economic opportunity in this digital age.
Absolutely. Now, shifting to some of the more established markets. North America, it continues its substantial contribution to the global market, obviously, growing from around $6 billion in 2021 to over $34 billion by 2033. The annual growth rate there is just under 16%, about 15.6%, still very strong.
Still very strong, yeah.
And the United States, as you'd probably expect, remains the largest contributor within the region. It's projected to grow from over $4.5 billion to nearly $25 billion, about 15.3% CAGR. But what's particularly interesting, I thought, is Mexico. It actually leads the regional growth rate, an impressive almost 17% annual expansion expected there, climbing from nearly $500 million to almost $3 billion.
Yeah, that is interesting. And it's compelling to see how these established markets like North America, despite their maturity, they continue to expand so significantly. This isn't just about more traditional call volume, I don't think. It will really reflect the deep evolution in customer expectations over here. Consumers are demanding more sophisticated support, omnichannel experiences, integrated service, and that's often driven by the rapid adoption of AI and automation within these call centers, often used to enhance rather than just replace the human agents. It's becoming more about complex, higher value interactions.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, Europe also shows significant expansion. Its market is growing from just over $4 billion in 2021 to nearly $23.6 billion by 2033. That's an impressive annual growth rate of almost 16% too, around 15.7%. And looking at some key players by 2033, the UK is projected to reach over $6 billion, Germany over $4.3 billion, France nearly $1.8 billion, all contributing to this really robust European growth picture.
And analyzing the diverse growth rates across all the European countries, it truly highlights the varying stages of market maturity there. You see some nations experiencing very rapid, perhaps catch-up growth. They're leveraging digital transformation to quickly build out their services. And then you have others like the UK or Germany, which are maintaining strong, consistent expansion in an already developed landscape. They might be focusing more on specialized services or those higher value customer interactions we mentioned. It really shows a broad spectrum of strategies within the continent.
Okay, got it. And finally, let's turn briefly to South America. This region is showing steady and, well, substantial progress, growing from around $1.6 billion in 2021 to nearly $9 billion by 2033. The average annual growth rate there is just over 15%, around 15.4%.
Solid growth.
Yeah, solid. Brazil is a key player, moving from around $467 million to over $2.6 billion. That's nearly 15.8% CAGR. And Argentina is similar, starting around $530 million and heading towards nearly $3 billion, with a 15.6% CAGR.
I think the regional dynamics in South America really indicate a solid, consistent build-out of modern call center infrastructure. It probably reflects growing internal market demand, driven by increasing digital adoption within those countries, but also, alongside that, a steady increase in participation in global outsourcing. This region seems to be steadily integrating into the worldwide network of customer service operations, becoming a reliable component, maybe, rather than showing those sudden surges we see elsewhere.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of numbers. What does this all mean when we bring it all together? What we've really seen is this truly explosive, sustained growth path for the global call center market. It's undeniable. And this isn't just simple growth for growth's sake, right? The report explicitly says is driven by these massive underlying trends, accelerating digital transformation across pretty much all industries, the ever-increasing scope and the sophistication outsourcing,
Yeah.
and just the escalating demands from consumers, from all of us worldwide, for more immediate, more personalized, seamless customer engagement.
Precisely. I think the core insight from this deep dive, drawing right from the source material, is that call centers are far from being some kind of stagnant or, declining industry. That perception is just wrong. They are not just thriving, they're actually becoming an absolutely critical, almost indispensable driver of global business operations. They really are the front line of customer interaction in our increasingly digital and interconnected world. And these numbers, they just unequivocally prove their pivotal and, importantly, growing role.
It really is remarkable when you grasp the sheer scale and the truly global nature of this market's expansion. It definitely reshapes our understanding of what might seem like a simple service function. It reveals it as this vast, dynamic economic engine that's undergoing these significant strategic shifts right before our eyes.
Absolutely. And this deep dive has clearly shown us the undeniable explosive growth in the global call center market. That's clear. But maybe as you reflect on these staggering numbers and the powerful forces behind them, consider what this massive expansion implies for the very nature of future employment, particularly in some of these high-growth regions we talked about. And also, think about how global customer service itself will continue to evolve, especially with the ongoing advancements in artificial intelligence and automation. We touched on it briefly. How might these technologies not just optimize things, but maybe fundamentally reshape the core of these rapidly growing operations? What does that future look like?
Those are indeed fascinating and crucial questions for what is clearly a continually evolving landscape. We hope this deep dive encourages you to keep exploring the far-reaching implications of these global trends.